Level 1. Physical power. The power of force. This is the birthplace of power, the kind that needs no words, no charm, no deception. It's the rule of muscle, weapon, and dominance. From ancient warlords to modern tyrants, physical power is the most visible, yet the most fragile. It's the power of fear, not respect. When a ruler conquers through sheer brutality, he commands obedience, but not loyalty. The moment his army falters, his empire crumbles. Physical power is like fire. It can protect or destroy, but it never lasts without fuel. The problem with this level is simple. Someone stronger always comes along. Empires rise and fall because they depend on the blade, not the mind that wields it. Even in modern life, physical power hides behind uniforms, guns, or authority badges. But it's the weakest form of control because it only governs actions, not thoughts. True masters of power understand that fear has a time limit. Once people stop fearing pain, they stop obeying. And when they stop obeying, your entire world collapses. Physical power gives you the illusion of control, but only until someone smarter or more ruthless takes it away. Level 2. Resource power. The power of possession. If physical power forces obedience, resource power buys it. It's the influence that comes from wealth, ownership, and access. In every era, those who control resources, land, gold, or information, control the game. Money doesn't fight wars, but it funds the armies. It doesn't speak loudly, but it decides who gets heard. Resource power turns control into currency. You don't need to command, you simply purchase compliance. But wealth is deceptive. It creates followers who are loyal to your fortune, not to you. The moment the money fades, so do they. It's a golden chain, beautiful, heavy, and temporary. Yet those who understand this level don't just collect wealth, they weaponize it. They use money to buy influence, time, and silence. They fund narratives. They shape economies. Resource power isn't just about having more. It's about making others depend on what you have. Still, it's limited, because once your possessions define your power, losing them means losing yourself, and those who worship gold often become slaves to it. Level 3. Social power. The power of belonging. By this stage, power evolves. It stops demanding or buying and starts attracting. Social power is built on reputation, connection, and charisma. It's the invisible web that binds people not by force or money, but by desire. Humans crave acceptance more than truth. The one who can create a sense of belonging, who can make others feel seen, valued, and included, controls them without ever raising a hand. That's social power. It's why kings needed courts, why influencers build followers, and why leaders become legends. Influence becomes contagious when people believe you're part of something greater than yourself. But this level is dangerous. The same crowd that praise you today can destroy you tomorrow. One rumor, one scandal, one shift in public favor, and the network you built turns against you. To wield social power is to master performance. You become a mirror that reflects what people want to see, not who you truly are. The wise understand this game and never mistake popularity for real control. Because in the world of belonging, you don't own power, you host it, and the crowd can always take it back. Level 4. Psychological power. The power of perception. Here, power stops being something you hold in your hands and becomes something you plant in other people's minds. This is psychological power, the ability to shape emotions, control narratives, and dictate how others see reality itself. It's not about strength or wealth anymore. It's about perception. The master of this level doesn't need to dominate. They simply influence belief. They know that if you can convince someone that you are powerful, you already are. History's most cunning figures thrived here. Prophets, politicians, cult leaders, and seducers, those who knew that people don't follow truth, they followed the story that feels true. By crafting illusions, they bend emotions like metal and build invisible cages around their followers' minds. Psychological power feeds on curiosity, fear, and admiration. It's the art of framing, making others interpret events the way you want them to. You don't force choices, you design them. You don't fight for attention, you command it by becoming an enigma. But this power has a price. Once you begin shaping perception, you also begin living inside your own creation. The line between authenticity and performance blurs. You become the illusion you built. And yet, this level is where true influence begins. Because when you can control how others think, you no longer need to control what they do. Level 5. Intellectual power. The power of understanding. If psychological power manipulates perception, intellectual power manipulates the world itself. It's the mastery of strategy, knowledge, and insight, the ability to see the entire chessboard when everyone else only sees their next move. At this level, power becomes quiet, analytical, and precise. It doesn't shout, it calculates. The strategist, the philosopher, the scientist all rule from the shadows, not through force or fame, but through clarity. They understand systems, patterns, and timing. Knowledge here is not just information, it's ammunition. Every fact becomes leverage, every idea a weapon. Those who master understanding no longer chase opportunity, they create it. This is the domain of the thinker who controls outcomes without ever being seen. While others waste energy reacting, the intellectual power holder has already predicted every reaction. But with knowledge comes danger. The more you understand, the more detached you become. You see manipulation, greed, and weakness in everyone and risk losing empathy. Many who reach this level begin to treat people as data points, not as souls. Still, intellectual power is the pivot point, the threshold between manipulation and wisdom. It's the level where power turns inward, where mastery of others slowly transforms into mastery of self. Because once you understand how everything works, you realize the greatest battlefield isn't the world outside, but the one within your own mind. Level 6. Moral power, the power of principle. At this stage, power transcends manipulation and strategy. It becomes something far rarer: credibility. Moral power is the kind that doesn't need to be proven, it's felt. It radiates from integrity, conviction, and unwavering belief in a principle greater than self-interest. Those who wield moral power stand unshaken in a world of compromise. They don't force people to follow, they inspire them to. When you live by a code that cannot be bought or broken, your presence alone commands respect. History remembers these figures not as conquerors, but as reformers, people whose words ignited revolutions, not through violence, but through conviction. Think of prophets, philosophers, and leaders who chose truth over comfort. Their strength wasn't in domination, but in sacrifice. Yet this power is the hardest to maintain, because moral strength requires purity of intent in a world that rewards deceit. To stay principled while surrounded by corruption is to fight a battle no army can win for you. But when you do, something remarkable happens. Even your enemies begin to admire you. Moral power turns opposition into legacy. It doesn't need manipulation or wealth, it's self-sustaining. While lower levels crave control, moral power creates faith. It's the point where authority no longer depends on fear, charm, or intellect. It depends on who you are when no one is watching. And that kind of power cannot be taken. It can only be earned. Level 7. Spiritual power. The power beyond the self. This is the final level, the summit of all power. Beyond force, beyond wealth, beyond even morality, lies spiritual power. Influence born from stillness, presence, and transcendence. Those who reach this level no longer chase power at all. They embody it. Their strength doesn't come from desire, it comes from detachment. They are untouchable not because they dominate the world, but because the world can no longer dominate them. Spiritual power is the quietest, yet the most transformative force of all. It's the monk who commands armies without raising a sword, the thinker whose words echo through centuries, the soul who, by simply existing, alters the energy of every room they enter. Here, control is replaced by alignment. You move with purpose instead of ambition, with clarity instead of ego. Power stops being about influence over others and becomes mastery of self. This level dissolves fear, envy, and pride. You realize that true power isn't something to acquire, it's something to remember. You were born with it, buried beneath the noise of wanting more. Those who reach spiritual power don't rule empires, they awaken them. They no longer seek followers, they create awareness, and that awareness becomes the most unstoppable force of all. Because in the end, the greatest power isn't in controlling the world, it's in no longer needing to.
If you enjoyed this video, subscribe for similar ones, and feel free to drop suggestions for the next video in the comments.